Greetings, everyone. All right, this video is the companion to the ultimate guide to setting up your Schoology and your PowerSchool / teacher for a perfect sync ability between the Gradebook and PowerSchool in Schoology 1.2 as well. Boy, I really muddled that intro, but that's okay. All right, so you guys understand what I'm saying. Your sync is not working for whatever reason, or you want to set it up properly. This is what this video is for. We're going to walk you through the steps. Make sure that you see the companion document that I created for you to kind of go through these steps too as well, to kind of see what to do. All right, where are we going to start? All right, I should tell you that I'm going to go through this video like you were a brand new teacher. You never worked with Schoology before, you never worked with PowerTeacher before, and I'm going to kind of hold your hand through each of those steps. There are chapter stops below if you hover over the time bar down at the bottom of this video, and you can see that you can jump to the section that you might just need to know about. All right, for those of you that might already be familiar with how Schoology and PowerSchool works, but you're still having problems, right? Okay, so I'm going to go through step by step. I'm going to give you some pro tips too as well as I go to kind of make your experience a little nicer, a little easier, and we'll work it out that way. Okay, so we are in Schoology, all right, and I'm going to go up here to courses. And these should be your top 12 courses that you've set up for your school year that you might be currently teaching. If not, this might be just a random bunch of courses. And you're like, I want to set up this one particular course because it's going to be the one course that I base all of my courses on. And that's great if you want to think of it that way. But you don't see it here. Right up there, there's a little thing called My Courses. You click on that, and you will be taken to a page that has a list of all of your courses that you've been assigned to this school year. Okay, so I'm going into semester 2 right now. I already have my semester 1 set up, so I want to start working on my semester 2 classes and making sure that those are set up. So I'm going to pick a course that that I haven't even set up, so you'll get to see exactly how I do it too. I'm going to go for this section 4 S2. S2 means semester 2 at our school district. So I'm going to click on that guy. So this is my digital marketing. You'll probably get inside the course, and it'll look something like this. All right, the first thing that I recommend for teachers is when they're setting up a course or they've completed setting up a course is to change this picture here. So you don't have this default blue design picture. That way visually you can kind of scan through your classes and know like, oh, that's one that I've been in, I've set up. The kids do appreciate it too as well. So just click on edit picture. You can actually upload any picture that you want there, but they do have some default ones here. I'm just going to choose that one for right now. And there you go, okay. So the first place we're going to go is we're going to go to this little area right here that says grades setup. All right, so we're going to go there. And you'll see a page that looks like this. We're going to focus on this area right here, the categories section. And right over here, there is an add button because you'll notice that there are no categories here. We need to add at least one. And I recommend that you go anywhere between 1 and 4 at the most. All right, just to keep things lean and easy for you. But I will set up a 5th one for all of you that are like, but what if I want to add more than 4? Okay, there's always that one teacher, right, who wants to do a little bit more. Okay, so I'm gonna take care of you on this one. Okay, so we're gonna do some very typical categories that many teachers use. I'm gonna use classwork as one of them. Okay, you want to make sure that the calculated by, always keep this set to total points. Don't move it to percentage because you might have some problems in the sync that are known issues actually with the sync. So just leave it at total points. The drop lowest, that's up to you. If you want to drop the lowest score in this category for the student when they calculate their final grade, you can do that. And you can go anywhere, up to 10. There are 10 lowest scores that you can drop from the calculation. I'm going to keep it 0 for right now, but you can always go back in there and change that as the semester is going if you feel like that might be beneficial for the students. Okay, so I'm going to hit create. And there you'll see the category right there. I'm going to add a couple more here. I'm going to do one for projects, all right, because that's pretty typical, right? Okay, and then all of that stuff the same. I'm going to do another one here for tests, okay, because that's probably something that might happen. I'll do one for maybe quizzes. How about that? That could be another one. And then I'm going to do kind of a made-up one here. Let's do one called pizza. Because pizza is a very important category to have in your classes, am I right? Okay, so we're just going to create that. So we got the pizza category. There we go. Okay, so we have 5 categories actually set up. Again, remember I recommend anywhere between 1 and 4 at the most to keep it easy for you. All right, now all of these categories are currently equally weighted. All right, so the scores that you put in there all have an equal impact on their final calculation for their grade. So if you grade on a 10-point scale, I would say keep that consistent for everything, so that way everything is equal. But if you wanted to give something, worth 50 points, then it'll kind of like weight it that way in essence. But sometimes a lot easier, many times a lot easier, just weight your categories. Okay, that way you can grade on the same scale, the same 10-point scale or 20-point scale, whatever it is you want to do, but they'll be weighted differently. Okay, they'll have a bigger impact on the final grade. So what I'm going to do here is you can see that it defaults to 20% because I have 5 categories, so everything's equally weighted. So I might change that to classwork. We'll do classwork 20. We'll do pizza 10, right? Should be more, but whatever. We'll do projects 30. Okay, what am I at? 60 currently. So we'll do quizzes, maybe another 10. Oh, we'll do 20 and 20. How about that? I'll make it easier so I remember what they are. And test another 20. Is my math right? Yes, it is. You can tell if all of these are nice even numbers here. Everything's set up. Now, these little stars over here, in case you're wondering what they are, if you want to set up a default category, so when you open up a brand new assignment, you create a new assignment in Schoology, and you want that assignment to default to one of these categories, you just put a star next to that one, and that'll be your default one. I don't recommend it because I think it's healthy to make Schoology make you look at the category to make sure that you actually have the right category that you want to have for that particular assignment. All right, so just leave that unstarred for right now. All right, now the rest of these settings here, there are 2 important ones. You don't want to change this. Okay, keep that at 100. And this one you don't want to change either. Gradebook scale, keep that at numeric. All right, you don't want to put it to A+, B+. The numeric is what makes the sync go a little smoother. Everything else is kind of optional. All right, and I'll make some recommendations here. Since at our district we don't use pluses and minuses in our grade anymore, you might consider checking this, which will round their grades. It just makes things a little cleaner. I've had good experiences with that, so that's really good. So instead of having like 0.7 or 0.3 on a grade percentage, it'll make it just a nice round number. Also down here, these are how your gradebook will look to you in Schoology. All right, so when you have some extra options here that you can turn on. One that you might be interested in is the total points column, so you can see the total points if you're a total points type of teacher, or if you want to add a override column for the grade, the final grade override column, you can turn that on and off too. So you can adjust that if you feel like one of your students did some extra credit that you want to attribute to their grade and give them some credit for, you can adjust that final grade and pump it up if you'd like. Okay, but you can turn it off and turn that on however you feel, whenever you want. You can go into that the same spot, the grade setup, and add that if you like. Down here, these ones are for the students only. Okay, so you can turn on what they see and what they don't see when they look in their gradebook for your class. All right. The one that you may want to consider here is the hide total points achieved. So if you're not a total points teacher and really honestly, the kids just care about what their grade is. So just to make it a little leaner for them, it's like they can open up their grade book and great, I have a B. They don't need to get caught in what their percentage is and all that stuff, particularly since we don't have pluses and minuses at our school. But if you don't, it's totally fine. It really doesn't change anything for the outcome. All right, so I'm going to hit Save Changes here. All right, and what you want to do is make sure that you wait for this green bar that says Save changes have been saved. Otherwise, if you navigate away too quickly, the changes may not save. All right. Now, the reason why I said think about a class that you think you might apply to all of your classes as far as the setup goes, and particularly the categories. Let's say you're yeah, I want all of these categories set up exactly like this for all of my classes, or at least a majority of them, because now you have a very easy shortcut here to be able to do this category setup for all of your classes and all your sections. Right up here at the very top, there's a button there that says Copy Settings, and if you click on that, you can tell Schoology, not for grading scales and rubrics for right now, although you can copy those to other courses too as well, but we're talking about just for the categories here. You can say, take these categories that I set up and apply them to this course, to that section, to this section, whatever it is that you want. And then when you say copy, all of that will get put in there and done. All right, that first step is easy to handle that way. I'm going to cancel mine for right now because obviously I'm not going to set mine up there with that pizza category, although I'm tempted. All right. The next piece we need to do is we need to go to Schoology. And I just want to show you how to check what categories are available in Schoology, because the next step here is we need to match these categories that you created up with the categories that are in Schoology. All right, so you want to see what's available there. So I'm going to flip over here to Schoology. To PowerSchool, sorry, my fault. And so I'm in PowerSchool. This is, if you log into PowerSchool, you see this screen, right? You want to go to Power Teacher Pro. All right, this will dump you into your gradebook area. All right. Now, currently, I am in my semester 1 courses here. Actually, no, I think I have it. Actually, okay, go. I'm in semester 2. That's great. So that's right, because I was poking around in there earlier. So you might have semester 1 here, because if this is maybe late in the fall, you're I need to do my semester 2 classes. Here's how you do that. Click on that little arrow. Make sure that semester 2 is checked or selected. And then these are all my semester 2 classes that are coming up that I'm going to set up. And I am working on this period 4, this block 4 one right here, the digital design and marketing. I'm going to click on that guy. Okay, now I want to check and see what categories they have set up here. So you see this little plus button up here in the corner? I'm gonna click on that guy and I'm gonna see category. Add a category here, right? So if you'll see this little pop-up screen here, this open window, and I'm gonna go to the View All tab up here. And this will show me in PowerSchool what categories are set up in PowerSchool. All right, so you can see I have classwork, project, quiz, test, performance, discussion, ungraded as a category I also have set up. Now, you don't need to do these ones if you don't want to. It's okay. But these ones right here that have the little schoolhouse next to them, those are default ones for our district. Okay, so every teacher has these 4 categories to use if they want to. All right, and we can assign those to the categories and pair them up with the categories that we have in Schoology. All right, and that's fine because you can see like, hey, look, we have a classwork. That's great. We have projects, cool, quiz, test. Hey, where's my pizza category? I want my pizza category. Okay, we're going to add that pizza category. So I'm going to go over here to category. I'm going to make a pizza one. Okay, I'm going to make it, make it kind of tan, like dough, right? I guess, right? And it's going to be my category. And I'm going to hit save. Boop. Okay, and it's done. All right, just to make sure that that category went in. If you come over here to the grading tab right here on the side, you see how it says categories? Click on that. And you can see, there's my pizza category. Yay, that I made. By the way, if you ever want to delete a category that you maybe created in PowerSchool, just come into that category screen, the screen right here, and go to the edit button next to the category, and you can delete that category. See that? I'm going to leave it in there for right now for demonstration purposes. Okay. So great, this all looks good. That's how you do that. Now let's go back to Schoology. Okay, all right. Now here's where this is the important part, first big important one. Okay, you want to go here to PowerSchool, down here. I'm in the course, right? Okay, I'm going to go PowerSchool. Okay, and you're going to see a screen here that looks like this, and you have 2 tabs up here, Sync Grades and Configuration. Make sure that Configuration is the one that we are looking at here. And you're going to see a screen that looks like this. All right, before we get started on the big stuff on the screen, I want to tell you it's very, very important that you check this box. Please, the automatically shorten assignment titles. The reason why is if you're the title for an assignment that you create, if it happens to be more than 50 characters, it is not going to sync unless this box is checked. All right, which PowerSchool will then take your longer title and shorten it so it likes it. All right, so make sure that is checked, and you have to do that for every one of your courses and every one of your sections. We'll talk about that later. Okay, but here is the mapping part. This is the fun part of doing this. Okay, so here are those PowerSchool categories that we created. Okay, that were over there. You see, I even had that pizza one that I just made in PowerSchool. Okay, so now what we need to do is map our Schoology courses. There's classwork. Make sure classwork matches with classwork. Okay, I don't have a discussion one, so I'm not going to choose one for that. That's okay. I can leave that blank. I don't have to match a category with one in PowerSchool. It's just there for me in case I want to use it. All right. For performance, I don't have one, but I'm going to put pizza for that for right now. Okay. For pizza, I'm not going to do anything. Like, Shimo, why don't you do pizza for pizza? Just wait. Okay, we'll do projects. Okay, for project, quizzes for quiz, and tests for test. Okay. Now, before I save this, I want to point out that it is okay for the actual syntax of the word to not match the syntax of the PowerSchool category. So this one matches. That looks beautiful. Great. Nope, that's great. But projects, plural, to project, that will work. It'll be just fine. Quizzes to quiz, all fine. Okay. I can even have a completely different category called pizza and match it up with performance. The key thing is that I can't take 2 categories in Schoology that have the same name and map it to 2 different PowerSchool categories. For example, if I tried to map classwork to both classwork and to performance, if I try to save, look what happens. I get an error that says, you can't do that, okay? You have to have one category it's 1-to-1, all right? So I'm gonna put, I'm actually gonna turn that off for performance, and I'm gonna actually put pizza for pizza, like that, okay? So this all looks good. And make sure that you've used all the categories that you've set up in Schoology has a mate over here in PowerSchool. All right, but it doesn't matter if there are some that are not being used over here in PowerSchool, like these blank ones. That is okay. All right, and go ahead and hit save changes. Okay, now what we just did here for this class, that is one class. Okay, one course, one section. Okay, you have to do that for every one of your courses and sections. Okay, every one. All right, now you've heard me say courses and sections, right? I will differentiate that in a little bit. I'll show you what that means, okay? But just because you're in a course here, if you have multiple sections within the same course, you have to do that for, there should be a little menu up here at the very top where you can switch to the different section, okay, if you have them linked. All right, but I'll show you that an example of that later on. Okay, good, this is all ready. The other piece here is the sync grades page. I wanna point you to that, okay? Right here, this is gonna be, as you create assignments, you're gonna see these assignments appear here. Okay, and over here, you'll see the status of the sync and the last time it was successfully synced. If you're having problems and you're like, hey, how come some of these courses or these assignments aren't syncing over to PowerSchool? Check this page, all right, and see what's going on. You might have errors over here, all right? And if the errors are here, there'll be like a little thing that says view info, meaning you can see what the info is on that error, and it'll tell you like why you're getting that error, or at least give you a clue of what possibly might be causing that error, all right? I'll show you an example of that in a little bit. Okay, so great, that's done, but we're not finished yet. All right, we have to go back to our good friend PowerSchool. Okay, and I'm in this course, right? The period 4 digital design semester 2. Okay, and I'm going to go down here to settings, and this menu will fly out. We want to go to traditional grade calculations. Okay, now from this page, you can actually set up all of your courses in PowerSchool this way, but you'll notice that the one that we're working on is highlighted, which is great. Okay, I'm going to come over here to where it says actions for that course. And I'm going to click on actions, and you'll see a screen that looks something like this. Okay, these might be set a little differently, but whatever. We have to make sure that this works with how we set up our course in Schoology. All right. So for all you total points teachers, like I have one category, that's all I need, and I'm just doing total points. All right. Or even 2 categories and you're still doing total points. You didn't do any weighting is what I'm talking about. Okay. We want to get rid of these other lines. So we only have one line here. So you see these little minus buttons? Click on that. Click on that. We only have one line. Okay. So make sure that this is set for total points. All right. And then set the weight to 1. All right. Which will actually make it 100%. All right. Now, and all you total points people, you're done. You can hit save and you're good to go. All right. If you happen to do your drop low scores though in Schoology, by the way, this is where you would do that. Okay, you can click on that and you can say drop lowest overall or drop lowest by category. Like maybe you want your lowest test and your lowest homework assignment. So you would choose that and then pick the category and say how many you want to drop from there. So that's how you would set that up. We're not going to do that right now. So I'm going to turn that back to none. Okay, so there's our formula. Now, for all you teachers that weighted your categories, all right, you have a little bit more work to do here because you're not going total points. You're going to weight it by category here. So I'm going to do category weighting, okay, for classwork. And I think, what did we say for classwork? 20%. We better make sure this is the same. And what I'll usually do is I'll have my Schoology one open here. I'll go back into grade setup, all right, and make sure I can see my weights, what I did, because they have to be the same. Otherwise, you're going to get a very different result over in PowerSchool when these grades sync. Okay, so we have that one. And then I need to add more lines, don't I? That's this little plus button right there. Okay, so we'll click on that. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 categories, right? So we'll make this a category weighting. We'll make this a category weighting. So these should all say category weightings. And you can see you can change the, there's project. Oh, actually, we have 2 projects on there. Let's make that one test. Okay, performance we don't need. I think we had, what did we do? Quiz? That was quiz, right? Classwork, pizza, projects, quizzes, tests. Yep, that's it. Okay, that all looks right. Okay, we have 2 quizzes. We need our pizza one. Beep. Okay, there we go. All right, so pizza was 10%, right? Projects were 30. Quizzes were, was it 20 and 20? I think, is that right? Math right? Let's see. Yep, everything's good over here. Okay, remember, just double check it, flip back over to the tab, make sure that these all match. Very important that you do that. Again, make sure that this box is checked here, calculate overall class grade. And this looks great and you're good to go. I'm gonna hit save for right now. Boop. Okay, so that's done. Now, the moment of truth. All right, here we go. We're gonna go back into Schoology. All right, now I'm gonna show you the 2 places that you can initiate a sync. All right, now, for all you people at our district, you already know this, that the automatic sync that is supposed to happen late at night, somewhere between midnight and 3 o'clock in the morning, has been inconsistent. So the best way to do this is to make sure you go into your sync log and see it has everything synced properly and do a manual sync. All right, so where do we do that? I showed you the first spot here, and I'm not going to actually go into a course that's currently active for me. So let's see, I'm going to go here to, I'll go to this one. Okay, and let me go to PowerSchool. This is where you would do that. Okay. And here we go. Great. There's sync grades. All right. And this is what it'll look like. This is what your log will look like. Okay. So right here, everything that I've assigned as an assignment will appear here. Okay. And then this is the status. Okay. Now, all these opted out ones, these are not a bad thing. I've actually specifically told Schoology to not sync these assignments with PowerSchool because these don't have any weight for me. These are just assignments that I've done. I've given them to kids. I've given them an evaluation or feedback score on it, but I don't necessarily want that to count towards their final grade. But these completion scores for me, for my courses, are the ones that have all of the weight. Okay, so these are the ones that I really need to check and make sure that they're syncing successfully. And you can see successful, successful, successful. That's great. Now, if you have an error here, you want to look over here where it says View Info and click on that and see what it says. It could be maybe you forgot to assign a category to it, or there could be all kinds of different things that could happen, but that'll give you a hint. But I do want to point out two places here. See this little button right there? It looks like two swirly arrows. This is how you manually sync this single assignment. Okay, and you'll see that next to all of your assignments, okay, if they're syncable. All right, so you click on that. I'll show you just what it looks like, okay. Yeah, so you see how it says queued, all right, and you see this little ellipses just kind of going that way. So it's queued for a sync. It hasn't synced yet. You have to wait and see if this says successful or you're still getting an error, all right? This will also tell you the last time it was successfully synced, because sometimes you might look here and go like, wow, this one, last time this synced was Wednesday, October 13th. How come? I thought for sure I made some changes to grades since then. Maybe that's the problem. And that's the case, you might want to do a manual sync for that. But basically the reason why it doesn't sync is because for some reason, Schoology is thinking that you haven't made any alterations to it. It only looks for the new stuff and syncs that stuff. And now this button right here, this is the big bomb button right here, the sync changes. All right, if you want to sync everything, all right, like sync it all, just click on that one and it'll do everything. All right, you might see a lot of things that maybe haven't synced or whatever. Just click on that and all of them will have, you'll see this ellipses next to each assignment. Okay, and they'll go. Currently on average, I've been seeing anywhere between around 3 to 8 minutes for a sync to happen if you do a manual sync during the day. All right, so that's one place to do it. Now, the better place to do your syncing is in your gradebook. All right, so I'm gonna go here to gradebook. Okay, you'll see these grades here. Okay, so what I can do here is when I add a grade, so let's say for this one right here, I wanted to add a grade. Okay, and I wanted to put in something like, we'll give them 100. All right, on that one. I've made all these changes. Once or maybe even altered or updated some grades here. Whatever you do, anything that you change in here, look what's right there. Swirly circles, that looks familiar. If you click on that, it will sync, do another manual sync, and everything that changed should sync, all right? You can always go back into that log to see how it's doing and whether it has completed that or not. Again, you're gonna need to give it some time for it to take effect, all right? I'm gonna actually delete that for right now because I don't want that to go, okay? So that's how you would do that in the gradebook. This is the one that I encourage teachers to use all the time. Anytime you get in the gradebook and add things in, just make a habit of clicking that. All right, so we know that the sync happens and things will be updated quickly. All right, and then the one that happens late at night is more just like a backup sync, just have a little bit more redundancy. Okay, and that gets your sync set up. All right, and you should be good to go at this point. Now, let me take a look at my document here that I made for you to make sure that there's nothing else that we need to make sure that we go over. Yep. We hit all of that. This all looks really good. Yes. Okay, so let's talk about some frequently asked questions. Okay. A lot of times I get teachers kind of, Shima, my assignments still aren't syncing. What's going on? Okay, what's the deal? So here's some things that I recommend. Again, go to that PowerSchool log. Remember, you get to that right here. Okay, and that will take you to the sync log. All right, then you can see what's going on. Go there first. All right, that's going to be usually a lot of information about why things are not syncing or if they've even synced at all. Okay, I always tell people the best practice is if something is not, you feel like something should have synced right and it hasn't, just resync it. Okay, sometimes it just, for some reason, there's just an anomaly there and you just need to resync it and then everything's fine. Okay, I have seen where teachers have duplicated an assignment. Or they made an assignment in Schoology and it synced overnight or whatever, they did a manual sync. And then they realize, I want to delete that assignment, okay? So they delete it from Schoology. They take it out of their materials, they come into materials and they delete the assignment, which is fine, but it does not delete in PowerSchool because it's already been synced, it's already there, all right? So what you need to do is you need to go into your gradebook, okay? Just go into score sheet. Again, this is an empty class right here, so I probably should go into one that's there, but I'm going to show you this, okay, just so you know. Okay, let's go into this one here. Okay, so you can see some assignments. All right, you're like, oh yeah, look, I have 2 week 4s here, right? I don't actually have it, but let's say I did. Okay, I would have to delete one of these, all right, and figure out which one is the one that I have deleted and which one's the actual active one. The best way is just look at the grades and see which grades are the ones that look right, and there'll be a column one that doesn't look so right. Let's say this was the one that I wanted to get rid of. So I go to do assignment, and you see up here it says edit assignment. And then there is the delete button. And you have to delete and then delete again to confirm it. All right, I don't want to do that because this one's actually right, but that's how you would do that. So double check and make sure that you don't have 2 of the same assignments because you did something like that in Schoology. So that is a known thing that's happened to teachers. What else do I have here for, yes, oh, so when you're creating an assignment, I'm going to show you what this looks like. Okay, so let's see, I'm going to go into, let's go into one of my past weeks here, okay. And let's open up a assignment here. I'm going to go into edit. Okay. So remember that opt-out thing that I showed you in the sync log? Okay. That's this checkbox right here in your assignment when you're setting up. See, it says syncing. It says sync to sys. All right. I have mine unchecked because I don't want this to sync to PowerSchool. All right. I just want to be able to evaluate for the kids, give them some quick feedback on it. Okay. But if you did, all right, and for some reason like, why is this assignment not syncing? Check this box to see maybe you accidentally unchecked it. Okay, it should always default to being checked, but just double check it. That could be a reason too as well. Cancel out of that. Okay, and one other thing that you might want to check too as well is just go back into PowerSchool, make sure that your traditional grade calculations is set up properly. Okay, now this next little tip is for those of you that know how to link sections in Schoology, where you have multiple sections in one course. Now, the benefit of that, obviously, is that you don't have to post an assignment 2 times for the same course that's in different sections, right? You can post the assignment and it'll appear to all of the sections that are the same course, right? So some of you teachers know how to do that. And if you don't, definitely do a Google search for that. That's a whole nother lesson on how to do that. But let's say that you did. The reason why is because when you set up your class, okay, in grade setup, okay, let's see if it's in grade setup. Okay, so you remember you set up all these things and it looks like, great, I did all of that for my class, we're good to go. You're not really, because on the PowerSchool side, you actually have to do it separately for each section. Okay, so I'm gonna give you an example here. All right, so let's say I'll go to the configuration screen. Okay. So let's say we did all of these things. It looks great. And if you were to save it, that's great. That's only for one section of that course if you have it linked. Remember earlier in the video, I told you there's a little drop-down menu. Look, you can see it because this one I have linked. So you have to click on that and choose the other section. And if, let's say, a lot of teachers will come to you, Shima, one of my sections is syncing, but the other one isn't. Why is that? Well, if you go here and you click on that second section and you look at your configuration here, there's a good chance that all of these configured classes haven't been set up, okay, for that section. Everything will be like blank, 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 looking like this. And you're like, oh, that's what it is. Then you have to go in there and then boom, all of a sudden everything works again. Okay, so good to go. That's a second pro tip for you on that to kind of look at. The other thing that I included in the doc too, by the way, guys, is this was made by PowerSchool, was this PowerSchool grade passback discrepancy checklist. Really fancy name for basically like, look, your stuff's not syncing. Here's some things you can try. And just go down this list here and say like, oh, did I do that? Did I do that? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to show you another quick pro tip here. This one's really great. Okay. If you're in your gradebook for a course, all right, don't mind that. School is not out. Okay. Right here is these little 3 dots. If you click on that, you'll have an option here that says bulk edit. Okay. If you do bulk edit, you can see all of the assignments that you have done for the school year. Okay. And what you want to check here is like, are any of these boxes unchecked, the sync to sys? Okay, so just come down here and check. See, these are the ones that I want to have checked, and these ones are the ones that I don't want to have checked. Okay, you also might want to check your categories to make sure that you assign a category to each of your assignments. Okay, because if something doesn't have a category, it's not gonna sync, and you might get an error. Okay, and I think that is it, guys. I hope this video helped you out. Like I said, just shoot me an email if you have any more questions, and check the documentation that accompanied this video to kind of go through step by step on what to do, if that helps you out too as well. But good luck.